From WDWNT, the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is ParksCenter. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of ParksCenter. My name's Ben, and joining me tonight we have Allison.
Good evening, everyone.
Jill.
Hello.
Rob.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And Pete. Oh, no!
Yes!
Oh!
Yes!
There it is!
Yes!
The mute has to happen to someone.
No, I was so excited. Oh, I'll do that again. Hold on.
And Pete.
Sivaco! Woo! It is
There we
Wednesday night.
go.
Who's excited for some ParksCenter? That's
Nailed it.
right.
You nailed it.
Don't worry, we'll get it in post. It's fine.
Ah.
All right, so kicking things off tonight with a bit of a big topic. I really am excited by this. So the Play Pavilion in EPCOT is something that I've been interested in ever since we found out that there was a Zootopia character in some of the concept art. But now we've got a little bit more information about what might be coming here. We've got some hints that there might be a Monorail Mark X attraction, or Mark 10, coming to the Play Pavilion, which... to me, is a great hint that the monorails aren't going anywhere. For those of you afraid that first the doors fall off and then they just remove the whole thing, they would not be creating concept art like this if they were planning on getting rid of the monorails. This seems like such a neat idea. Like, you can kind of see in some of the original concept art here, Nick Wilde hiding in the right corner, but also in the center, there's kind of a monorail going through a building. Just right of dead center of this image. We've got a close-up of it down here. Good for us. This seems like a really neat idea, but I feel like this could go anywhere with what the actual content of this is. Anybody got any ideas or thoughts on like what this is going to look like?
I feel like my ideas are probably almost certainly incorrect, but I look at this and I'm like, could they be adding an additional entrance to EPCOT through the Play Pavilion so that you would have like 3 separate entrances? You could enter near the France Pavilion in World Showcase, or you could enter at the front of the park, or maybe you can enter here at the side of the park with like an additional monorail stop. It doesn't make sense to me to just have like a tiny loop around the Play Pavilion with just one monorail. I don't know. Also, I'm confused by like skipping a lot of numbers and going straight to like the Mark 10. So that's either to me like this is going to be like a miniature version, which then would like explain like a tiny like loop around, but that's like less exciting than if it's being linked up to the whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. Pete, what do you? Pete, what is that?
But I am a fan of all things monorail, and my man Bob Gurr, I met him.
Nice.
He signed this. So I'm imagining it's just Bob Gurr yelling at people from the balcony, telling them how great the monorail is and how Disney needs to replace them because they're well overdue. I want to put this back. I don't know. I don't think an additional.
Want that attraction.
I would love like. What?
I want that attraction.
Yeah,
Bob Gurr yelling at people.
I would love that. Bob Gurr yelling at
100% I
people.
want that.
Oh, it's so great. It would be super cool to have a monorail stop in the parks, kind of like Disneyland, where it takes you over by Finding Nemo, the submarine over there. But I don't know if that's realistic. Also, that work probably should have been started by now if it was going to happen. So I don't think it's going to happen. However, I think it's super cool. Like, they're eventually going to get rid of like our little miniature trains over by Germany for a new pavilion one day when we have money again and the world hopefully goes back to some kind of normalcy. But I'm thinking this might be like a smaller version of the monorails. I don't know if we'll be able to get in them, but I feel like having them move around the pavilion or at least around the upper bubble, kind of like pictured train sets in, you know, your grandma or aunt's or uncle's house. I think it's super cool, and I think it's really cool to keep educating new generations about how innovative the monorail was and how cool it was that Disney brought it over from Europe, and that it was this amazing system, and it still is cool to look at. There's still a nostalgia factor. I live here. I lived here for a year now. Every time a monorail passes by, I get excited. Like I actually go to like reach for my phone and I'm like, oh yeah, I have like 4,800 videos of a monorail going above my head. It's super cool. So I like the nostalgia factor. I'm glad they're bringing this back. I'm glad there's something in the works. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I'm excited about this. I think this is really cool.
So my response to this is a question, which is there not already a simulator in what is now the Play Pavilion, the former Wonders of Life Pavilion that used to be Body Wars? And isn't a simulator kind of in the vein of the Star Tours vessel that you see when you enter Star Tours? Couldn't we kind of shape that like a monorail? And could we maybe, some people in chat are talking about a bullet train simulator ride. Couldn't we turn that simulator into basically a monorail of the future simulation of like a high speed monorail line, and you can kind of have it going past the Magic Kingdom or wherever you want? I don't know. That's a possibility. The other thing I think about this is I don't have particularly high expectations for anything in the Play Pavilion. I'd like to, but I don't, because I think it's oriented towards children, and the last thing that Disney did that was oriented towards children was Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and I found that kind of disappointing. So I feel like this is also not going to be that great on the execution side. So knowing that there's a monorail thing in the Play Pavilion is cool, but having high hopes about what it is, I don't know why. I don't know what they will do that will kind of impress me with this, because I don't know that I'm going to be impressed.
Full Gryffindor.
I'm thinking I sound like Jason, and I'm even like I'm adopting some of the cadence of his voice even. So
we've gone to play.
I wouldn't be surprised if the two monorails crashed. Oh boy.
So as far as the simulator idea goes, I feel like that sounds too dangerous, and you want people to be safe in monorails. And if they had the simulator and like you felt like the doors were falling off, or the pieces were stopping, or they turned off all the air so that you couldn't breathe because it was so hot, then I guess it would be like a simulator, like a crazy wild simulator. No, Ben. So here's the other thing about it to me is that I think it's kind of brilliant that they would do this, because we don't think there's going to be monorails anytime too soon. But the idea that they could create some sort of an exhibit that would show that they are coming, and here's what you have to look forward to, would probably placate a bunch of people if they were like, oh, good, they're at least working on something here. So I think it's a great PR move from that standpoint to have that in there so that everybody can get excited about the monorails. And it could just be like an exhibit where you go in and you look around and go, wow, this is what the new monorails are going to look like. This is going to be amazing. As far as the Play Pavilion in general, though, it worries me. I don't have the same worries that Jill does. I think it was a great idea. I was looking forward to the Play Pavilion, but it seems like everything that was in there you had to touch. And that's not a good thing in 2020 to have to go and like put your hands on stuff. So if everything was like interactive, that's kind of how they pitched it, right? It's digital, it's interactive, it's really cool. I'm afraid that a lot of that stuff has to be either put on hold or actually changed up now because COVID. Because you don't want little kids or just big kids like me just touching everything that's in there. They want those low touch areas, right? So I don't know. They're full steam ahead on Play, so they've got some ideas of what they're going to do in that pavilion. But it worries me that a lot of it's going to be hands-on stuff, and that it may not be exactly what they originally envisioned before this happened.
The monorail simulator idea is something I've heard tossed around a couple times, and I do kind of like that. I think it might have some legs, but I really enjoy Rob's concept of the Monsanto monorail of the future. That seems like such a neat idea. Like that's if they're actually planning on upgrading the monorails, I would love to see that happen.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It would be super cool if this one with no rails. We just go railless. That's really. If we're gonna go futuristic.
Well, that's the maglev trains. They've got that in Japan.
There you go. Just give me a magnet on one side of the room and a magnet on the other. Get me across. Let's go.
Oh well. Changing topics, I guess, from Future World to what World Showcase is known best for, dining. There is now a new way to join the waitlist for your favorite restaurants located around Walt Disney World using everybody's favorite app, My Disney Experience, which is flawless and never breaks. I get that check later, right? Anyways. So this is actually like I'm giving it a hard time, but I'm glad they're doing something like this. You can specify the party size, you can pick what time you're looking for food, find locations where you can get some walk up. This seems like a cool concept. I really hope that this works out and results in a lot fewer people kind of hovering around the host stand, just trying to like. Yes, I know there's 80 people ahead of me in line, but can you fit 2 people in somehow, please? Like, getting less people crowded in one spot seems like a great idea right now, so I'm glad they're doing this.
So this is I think this is long overdue. Yeah, absolutely. Because right now, a lot of locations are not accepting walk-ups. When I was down there last month, it blew my mind that I walked up to Via Napoli and there was a sign outside of Via Napoli saying, we are not currently accepting walk-ups, reservations only. We're taking reservations only. So you've got all of these restaurants right now, and I understand they're trying to be really careful about their capacity and be careful about safety. But if there are people that don't show up for their dining reservations, then you've got this what limited capacity there is going unused, and you've got people who want to be there who can't be there. So I really appreciate the idea of it. Basically, this is if people don't show up for their dining reservation, you get a shot at it because you want to go and they didn't show up. So I think that's going to help with people being more satisfied in their experience in the parks because they have at least some slight chance of getting into a dining reservation. And also it's going to help Disney, make sure they're making as much money as they can given their very low capacity right now by filling what capacity they do have in their restaurants. So I'm super excited about this. I'm really glad they're doing this. I think it's necessary and it's going to help Disney and it's going to help the guests.
Yeah.
To me, it also saves you a walk. Like, my favorite part of mobile ordering is saying that I'm here when I'm like 7 minutes away, and I'm if I'm ordering from Satuli and I'm in Africa over at Animal Kingdom, I love placing my order and saying I'm here because I know 6 to 7 minutes later my food's ready. I walk right in. Here I am. This is great too. So like if you're in another part of a park and you want to see what's available or see what's open, like this is the dream. Or get on a waiting list and you know it's going to be 10 minutes or 5 minutes, to hustle up, or you could stop and go to the restroom. I love this. This should have been done forever ago. This is fantastic. I love positive Disney news. So let's just take a minute and really breathe this in. Thank you. Moving on.
That was a nice, relaxing little breath there.
It was nice,
I
right?
agree. Let's move on.
I guess that's it. That's all there is.
Yeah, no, that was a good breath.
And I agree.
Let's move on to another dining story, one that is a little less happy. The Sebastian's Bistro restaurant may not be returning over at the Caribbean Beach Resort. This is rather unfortunate. I personally haven't been there. Allison, you saw this story and you were very what's the word I'm looking for? Not
keen
excited.
To talk about
keen,
it.
yes.
Yeah,
this was very much in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I'm a big dining fan at Disney. I eat my way around the world every time I go down there. And when Sebastian's opened, I think I was there a few weeks later, and everything about it is they really did a very nice job. The menu has gone through some changes because initially it was like really enormous and it was really hit or miss. Like 50% of the items were inedible and 25% of the items were out of this world amazing, and then the other 25% were like, these are good. So it was just this really
100% agree.
Yeah, but it's changed a lot, and they started to like hone in on what they're good at, and now it's just really sad to me because it's such a lovely place. There's always availability. It was really great when they had lunch there, also because you knew it was going to be like a nice place to relax and have a good meal and have some things that you couldn't get at a lot of other places. There's no other like Caribbean themed like eatery that I know of. And it's also had, for me who lives in like a Caribbean American city with lots of like Creole flavors and things like that, it had a lot of the things that I like to eat at home, but with a little bit of a Disney twist. It's a really lovely place. So when I saw that like potentially this place is not coming back, it's really devastating because it's only been there. It's been there for 2 years, not even, because it's been closed since March. So the idea that like, they went through this whole thing and like all of these menu changes and all of the renovations to maybe never open again, and just to sit there in this big resort is just like, it's just a really sad sign of the times, and it's also really sad for the people who work there. So yeah, I'm upset about it. It sounds like Pete has also been there, which is good. I'm not the only person who's eaten there.
No, yeah, I have. I'm sad about it too. Although I just feel like it's again like one of those in-betweener restaurants, right? So I feel like either go for Disney or don't, especially at resorts when you're not in a park and people aren't obligated to go eat there. Because again, a lot of meals are had at the parks during the day. There are people who hang at the resorts, but it's not an overwhelming amount of people. And if you want people to come from another resort to a different resort just to eat, it's got to be one of those restaurants. I mean, look at Topolino, which has just opened, is amazing and it's beautiful. You have these rooftop views, or the one on top of Gran Destino. I always forget the name, across from Dahlia Lounge, but it'll come to me. But anyway, like those restaurants, when
Toledo,
you're doing great. You either have views or amazing service, or they're known for the food, or flying fish. The list goes on. But then you have these in-betweeners where, like, I feel like the Three Bridges restaurant over Gran Destino is kind of similar to Sebastian's, where it's, am I really drawn to go to this restaurant from my resort to go to another resort? I have to find transportation because there's no resort-to-resort transportation. Is the food that great, or is the price point appropriate? And just like Three Bridges, I feel like Sebastian suffers from this in-between of one, desire, and two, price point. I think their prices were a little too high for what it was. And also, they have a great spot. I know I'm going over time, but the cabana, the Banana Cabana, right next to the pool area at Caribbean Beach, where this is located, is a really cool spot. There's a little bar there, some TVs. It's beautifully decorated. This would have been a great opportunity to do like kind of like a seaside or a beachside. It's essentially a poolside. But you have the beach right there, Caribbean Beach, and lower your price point by $10 per item. You don't have to have these gorgeous-looking plates, and just do easy, simple food. Elevate simple food. It's a missed opportunity. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Again, I call it the in-betweener syndrome.
If you want a good in-betweener restaurant in the meantime, Olivia's.
Ooh.
See, there's one that survived
because
it's a BBC property. Yeah. It's got a following.
Mm-hmm. Or you look at Sanaa. Like, Sanaa has a huge following, and I feel like it kind of falls into a similar category as Sebastian's, and yet it has only gotten stronger and stronger because it has a hook. And I think, again, yeah, anytime you have a restaurant that doesn't have that kind of perk to it, like California Grill or Topolino with the views, and it's at a resort, it has to be a really good place or people aren't going to make the effort to get there if they're not staying there. But we absolutely have resorts on property that people do exactly that for. So it just makes me think that, I don't know if it was they didn't give it enough of a chance or the menu, whatever, but
also Sanaa is known for their bread service, and you have views of animals. There's other restaurants that have character dining or rooftop views. There was like you said, you made a great point. There's no hook for Sebastian's Bistro. There's nothing that really draws you in that says this is worth going out of my way on my precious time on a Walt Disney World vacation.
Who would have thought the seafood restaurant doesn't have a hook?
Even boat rights at is it Port Orleans? That that's been going strong for a while. No, they do because it has good food. I've gone
inside that resort. That's why. If
there's 19,000 rooms at Caribbean Beach too.
Yeah, but
It's
again,
not
I
like-
mean, boat rides again is not a big lunch spot. It's more of a dinner place because people are coming back from the resort.
True, but they shut down lunch at Sebastian's like months before the closure.
Also, too, I feel like boat rides hits a larger demographic of, I would say, palates than Sebastian's, where you have to be either interested in trying for the first time or already interested in Caribbean food. Like,
But then you go back to Sanaa, like Sanaa
has
pretty,
bread service and animals. Everyone hears about it. Everyone praises Sanaa.
But the bread service is kind of like, if you're talking about kind of exotic cuisine that maybe most, people aren't used to, that's more than burgers and fries, like that's Sanaa to a T, far more so than
America.
Sebastian's ever
Everyone
was.
loves bread. America was built on
But
people loving
it's not bread,
and
it's
carbohydrates.
non-bread. It's non-bread
Yeah, but
with
it's a
all
bread
of
service.
these
You have to
sauces
try three
that
different
are
types of
all
bread with all these
exotic
different
flavored.
sauces. I have the pickiest
Half of
eater as a
America
girlfriend.
doesn't know what a
and she loves the
tamarind
bread.
is. But you want them to eat tamarind sauce on their naan. Like, that's not
They don't
bread
have to.
service.
There's 8
To
other
most people,
sauces
bread
to choose
service
from.
is a
It's the
basket of
beauty
sourdough
of
rolls
options.
and butter.
We love options in America. That's why we love the Cheesecake
just
Factory.
saying.
We want to read a Bible of food.
I'm just saying, I think your logic is flawed because the same things that Sebastian's has, Sanaa also has, and yet people are beating down the door to go to Sanaa, and they could have cared less about Sebastian's.
What views do you have at Sebastian's besides just looking out at other resort hotel rooms? You have live animals walking around outside. Also, you have a signature item
not
that
constantly.
every single blogger and vlogger has bragged about since they debuted the bread service. I honestly can't even name you one item off the Sebastian's Bistro menu, and I've been there 3 times.
Exactly, that's the
a
point.
in some kind of
That's the
format.
point. No one cared about anything on the menu. At the end of the day, if the food
I
is
agree with
good,
you there.
it doesn't need a shtick. It doesn't need bread service. It doesn't need animals. It needs good
apparently
food.
does.
And clearly Sebastian's didn't have enough of it, or they would still be open.
It
At one
had
of
a
the
great
at one of the
bread
resorts
service,
that's open.
amazing Caribbean rolls, but that's besides.
Like, let's say they would have had, like, at Sebastian's Bistro, like, this amazing
Folks,
crab tower.
we are way
crab
over.
overflowing, and it was a signature item, and people have to go try it and eat it. That could have saved the restaurant. But no, they didn't hire my consulting firm. So here we are, out of business.
I love
Moving
that.
Are we
on.
This is
done?
what we talk about
Did we
for
do it?
10 minutes.
Is it over?
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay. Because that was really, really well done, but my goodness, we went on. Let's pick up some lost time here. Shanghai
we're
is
having
increasing their park capacity. This is something that honestly surprises me a bit, but I guess it makes sense if you're paying attention to the politics over there. The Chinese government is now allowing tourism spots to raise their capacity from 30 to 50%. As a result, Shanghai Disneyland is going to be almost immediately complying with this, effective August 24th. And they're also going to be implementing a new pass reservation system, or at least new to them. It seems not too terribly different from what we've got, with like kind of different processes for annual pass holders versus day ticket holders. But I'm glad to see that they're in a situation where they can increase the number of people that they can have in a park safely. I just hope that they're not preemptively doing this when maybe they should be holding off.
Thanks, Shanghai.
Oh, that's an old joke. Goodness.
Sorry. I have nothing to say about Shanghai. You guys have your 2 minutes and 22 seconds of fun.
It just reminds me of like, well, it's encouraging. I guess I'm been hopeful that this is not premature, but it just reminds me about how I can't travel right now
Yep.
to internationally at the very least. So yeah, this kind of story, I'm like, nah, wah wah. So sad,
Okay.
but because it's encouraging to see like anything opening up for me.
Yeah. Anything going back to, or at least closer to normal is just kind of a good sign. I just like we've said already. I hope it doesn't roll back.
Right.
But since this seems kind of late, let's move on and save a little bit of time that we blew through a bit of it. So let's pick that back up.
Anyone who's not involved in the chat, the puns in the chat are on fire.
Oh,
And
this
we have the
chat's
best
amazing. I love
chat
y'all.
ever going on right now. So if you're not in the YouTube chat, or if you're watching somewhere else or listening somewhere else, The chat is fire on YouTube right now. But anyway,
Yeah.
going.
So
I
we
love
have
that we talk about Shanghai for 30 seconds and whether Sebastian's has good food for like 10 minutes. That's fantastic.
yeah, no, that seems right.
This show is
that's great.
90% Sebastian's Bistro.
Oh gosh. Well, now
The
let's
restaurant
go on a
probably
really
no
long
one has
rant.
been to that's watching.
Let's
There's also this guy,
let's
Rob
go on a
Whiteside
long
in the
rant
chat
on
who
DVC
is
for a bit
hilarious.
here, because I've got a feeling
Yes.
that we're gonna be going DVC for a while here. So Disney Vacation Club is reportedly, this hasn't been 100% confirmed at this point, appears to be raising yet again the number of points that you need to buy directly from Disney in order to get the membership benefits that come with DVC. So for those who aren't aware, there's a secondhand market for DVC. You can sell your points on the open market. Anybody can buy them. But the exclusive perks, of which there is a massively long list, I think admission to the Top of the World Club was one. I don't know if that's still a thing. Literally the only perks that you get as a non-first class citizen of DVC is that you can pool hop and you can rent DVDs. And that's it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So every time they do this, so I bought into DVC on secondhand back when the minimum number of points to get these benefits was 25. I was planning on buying in, and then after a couple years, I'd save up a little bit and then buy a 25-point add-on direct from Disney and get those benefits. Well, while I was saving that up, they increased the minimum. So I'm like, well, I guess I got to save more because it was increased. We've got it here in the article that it was raised to 75 points in February of 2018 and then again to 100 points last September. So now it looks like they're going to be raising it another 25 points. They are just... We were so close to me being able to be a first-class citizen, but no, they keep demanding more and more money out of you. Now they're asking me to buy more points than I currently have. I only have 120. This is ridiculous. I can't afford to buy in direct at that price, and I know a bunch of other people can't too.
So, Ben,
Rob!
actually, we're very opposed on these things because I actually did buy mine from Disney because there were perks for buying them from Disney. So I paid a lot more than you did for yours, which means I feel like we should get something more for buying them directly from Disney rather than buying them aftermarket. And then as far as the point things go and moving them up, one of the most frustrating things to me about it was they do all of these things that they advertised from the beginning. You can do Moonlight Magic, these special events that you can go to, and you can do, other special events that we have, or have special discounts, or, all these things that they offer, and they sell out in milliseconds because you can't get a hold of them because everybody has access to it. And so I think that's a problem. I think that's really more of a Disney problem, but I think to manage it, that's how they're doing it. In this case, I think that I probably agree with you more than I have in the past, because I do think that there should be a minimum, but to continually move that line rather than extending the amount of benefits that they can provide, that's what they should be doing. They should be adding more Moonlight Magic events, or increasing the capacity for them and keep that minimum where it is. I do think there should be a minimum that you should be that you should have to be able to be a part of this. But I think that getting them to this point is kind of ridiculous, because they should be able to fix it by giving you more options rather than to limit the amount of people who have access to it. Especially, I hope they grandfather people in. I hope that if you already had 75 points and they move it to 100, that you don't lose those benefits, like being able to go to the DVC Lounge or Top of the World or the Moonlight Magic events. I hope that that's the case. But
in the past, when they moved the minimums, they grandfathered everybody in. So
okay, good.
I would not expect that to change.
But again, you and I have been at because we came into DVC at different levels. But this is one where I think they should be adding to the benefits, or opening up more, adding more days for Moonlight Magic, instead of raising this limit over and over again. I think 75 is enough. 75 should be the limit. That should be it. I don't think they need to take it up the next level. And it seems very, very money grabby. And though Disney is that, it's a company and it has to make money. A lot of the things they do don't seem money grabby. This one does. And again, they should just add more features to the sideline. So I think we're closer on this one than we have been on most DVC topics.
Yeah. The part that kills me that I literally didn't realize until just a few moments ago is that they are literally asking people to buy more points than the minimum point buy in order to get benefits. Like that's what blows me away. Like, because you can, if I'm not mistaken, you can get a 100-point contract. So if they bump this to a 125, are they going to also increase the minimum contract size to 125?
I would think so. I mean, you've got to, because you can't have 2 tiers at that point. It has to be. Yeah. It's already a very complicated process when you go to buy the points. So I think it has to be that you just have 1 tier. So I think if they're going to do it, then they're going to have to do it for the whole thing. And maybe this is just one of those things where they hang it out there to see how people react. And if there's enough pushback on it, they don't actually do it. Because like you said, it hasn't been confirmed that this is going to happen. But if it does happen, I think it's a shame that they're doing it this way, but I think they will have to increase the contract minimum.
Yeah.
More.
So I think this is a way to get them. Is this a way to get them to like kind of clear out some point inventory? Because I would assume that no one is buying DVC right now. And for if the minimum was 100 points before, and now you've got to have 125, is this like their some sort of strategy to try to force the 100-point contract holders to buy 25 more points so they can sell some of the points that they've got a probably massive inventory of right now?
See, I would think it would be the opposite, though. I think that they would lower the minimum so that they could get more people to buy, because now you're putting it at a point where it's less available to most people to be able to raise that limit. Like if this was the limit, I'm not sure I would have. I mean, again, it's a lot. I mean, a lot.
If they were to drop it back to 25, I would almost immediately right now try and pull together the money to make that happen. If they were trying to move points, that's how you do it.
Everything must go.
Yeah.
Fire sale,
including reflections.
Oh no! Don't bring that up. You know what? Good news. We might never ever see EPCOT forever, ever again. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's dead. It's gone. It's never coming back. See you.
Well,
all right.
I refuse to segue off of that into our next topic. Just a brief PSA. We mentioned this in past, but it is now officially open, so I wanted to make sure that we gave it a little bit of our attention. That there is now free COVID-19 testing on site for both cast members and the general public at the Disney Main Gate complex. This is open to the public. Check the in the description. We've got a link to this article that has links to the website where if you're a cast member or non-cast member, it's 2 separate websites but the same location, you can sign up to be tested. So that is available. It is open now. It is operating. If that is something that would help you and you live in the Florida area, go take care of yourself. And then,
speaking of which, I got another negative result today. They called me a few hours ago.
Good deal.
Yeah. Here's the deal: is that I never feel sick. I never felt like I had COVID. I just, knowing I go to the parks and I'm on shows like this, and I see people, or going out to dinner with other people, I just think it's important to get tested, just so I know and I have peace of mind. I can give other people around me peace of mind that I'm doing the right thing. And also, as someone who is in the parks often, the fact that I keep coming up negative, and I try to get tested roughly every 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. That is the 14 days anyway, and I just keep coming up negative. So that is a testament, I think, to Disney, and I mean also smart decision making. It looks like you guys will know, like, it looks like I'm a maniac out there, but as long as you're following the protocols, wearing your mask, social distancing when you can, you will continue to come up negative. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So for me, it was another negative test today for me, which is very exciting stuff. So I just thought I'd mention that. Woo.
Stay safe, sir.
Disney for
And one last thing before we go. I just want to play this for you folks.
Hey, WIGS members, welcome. We're here at the Abracadabra. Detailed, that's the name, right, Axel?
Detailed is the name.
We're going to point out details you might find around the Walt Disney World Resort.
Yep, that's right, folks. We have a new show coming for our WIGS members. That is our WDWNT Interglobe Society. If you want to join, you can head on over to patreon.com/WDWNT for all the info on that, along with a whole bunch of other benefits. We're now going to be putting some exclusive programs up for you folks. And another one is the return of Ride Rehab Watch It. Oh, that was supposed to be animated. Oh. Okay.
Oh, no.
Well, Ride Rehab Watches is coming, and that's going to have a really sweet animated logo. If you're in the WIGS Cord, you've seen it already. But for those of you who are watching during the WDWNT Live segment, it's where the Ride Rehab folks and myself, and usually Matthew Soberman joins us as well. We sit around and watch some not so great Disney specials. And it's a good time. It honestly is a really good time. If you've seen Mystery Science Theater 3000, Rift Tracks, anything of that nature, if you've gone to a Rocky Horror screening, you know the kind of shenanigans. A little more PG than Rocky, but
Or watch Deep in the Plus last Friday, which was a similar
Yes!
experience.
That was a
oh
good.
man. I went
That
to go
was
watch that Mouseketeer specials after that show. That was great. I am so glad that you recommended that on the show.
I want to do
So
another.
check that all out if you haven't.
Can I double up and do another one?
Oh yeah, what are you? Yeah, what Pete? You're doing something, aren't you? What are you doing?
No, he
Oh,
said
tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, Thursday, August 20th. Literally tomorrow, if you're watching this live, but otherwise, maybe it's tonight, or maybe you're going to watch a replay. However, August 20th, tomorrow, Thursday, we have live from the WDWNT studio right here in Orlando, Florida on iDrive. We are bringing Jellyrolls Night to you. Jellyrolls is closed. It has been closed since middle of March. It's been 5 months. We don't know when it's going to reopen. They said October, but that could change because the governor has this whole food thing, and Jellyrolls doesn't sell food. So it might not even reopen until who knows when. So I said I cannot deal with this. I've had Rob and Scotty on Party with Pete, and it's cool one at a time, but I wanted to recreate Jellyrolls. So we are bringing in pianos. We're talking pianos. We're doing paper napkins. We're doing it all. I'm bringing the DJ lights. We're doing sound. I met with them in the studio today. We're loading in tomorrow super early, 4 hours before the show. It is going to be legit Jellyrolls fun, awesomeness. Tomorrow night, tune in wherever you're watching this right now or hearing this right now. We're doing it, and we're going to take requests. It's all the proceeds are going to Give Kids the World. So if you don't know how Jellyrolls works, you put some money on the piano with a request, and they play your songs. They work on tips. They're not taking any money. I'm not taking money. Tom's not taking any money. WWNT is not taking any money. We're giving it all to Give Kids the World. We have a website set up. You're going to be able to donate, request songs. It's going to be an amazing night. The requests are going to come right into me. I'm putting those requests on paper napkins, giving them to them. They'll be throwing them around the studio just like Jellyrolls. It's going to be an awesome, awesome night. So please, please, please tune in tomorrow night. Get there early and start requesting. I would say 8:45-ish, but the show starts at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for the time, Ben. And thank you for all of you.
Thank you, Pete. Yeah, and thank you everybody watching this. We really appreciate you folks. If you want to help support this show, you can either on YouTube, subscribe to our channel right down there, hit the bell, and give us a like if you like the show. That way you can get notified every time we go live, and we can know that you folks like this show. If you really like the show, feel free to subscribe. I already mentioned WIGS, the WDWNT Interglobe Society, over at patreon.com/WDWNT. For as little as $2 a month, you can get access to our post shows, the post shows for news tonight. You can get access to detailed Ride Rehab watches, all the other exclusive content that we've got up there, and a whole bunch more things that I do not have time to mention because we have gone way over tonight. So thank you all for joining us. If you are watching that post show, we will be back in just a moment. Otherwise, we will see you all next week.
Bye, guys.
Dun 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 dun. You'll be back. Wait and see.